So I'm going to read a section of this piece that is excerpted in Your Impossible Voice. This is another section of that. It's I'm calling it a novel because that helps me go on with it. The working title is Red Dust Tangle. So to set it up, I'll just say I started it after I made a visit to Chicago this summer. I've spent a little bit of time there. It reminded me of Denver, where I've spent a lot more time. I'm from the Midwest, but just these flat, gridded American cities that seem very accessible and very pragmatic. But there's also a mystery, kind of how that grid turns into a maze was a sort of working concept of generating this story. Gathering these filaments, we were tracing light, trying to make it matter. A spiral was a tangle with the monster sorted out. Somebody took the gifts from the alleyway. I bought trinkets on the corner for $0.25 each. I didn't want them. At best, I was unsure about them, but they were what he had to sell. We made the smallest marks that we could see. The red dust rose continually from the twice-formed stone, once granite, then sandstone. The powdery film on the windowsills settled also on our skin, as if we bathed in smoke. Smoke erupting from the grid dissolved the lines that traced the movement's certainty. A cloud, like a labyrinth, contains its own intelligibility, as a disintegration of lines back into points can be explained as suspension or ephemerality. If I knew the way, I'd lead you here. We traced the light, trying to make it matter. Dear heart, I finally understood the appeal of Spider-Man, to take an injury and turn it into your greatest power, a power that only you had, a way that you could save anyone. I grew up in a religion of human sacrifice, though it wasn't explained that way at the time. Forgiveness came in a package of spikes and thorns. Blood ran calmly from the palms of hands. We all pantomimed the anguish abstractly and repeatedly. I saw 2 street fights that year. Heads bounced on pavement. I saw one building turn into flames. Knotted bedsheets hung from the upper floors. How long does it take to pull sheets off a bed and twist a simple rope and tie it to a metal window frame? How long to wonder whether this is really happening? How long to throw a leg over the windowsill, dusty terracotta, push aside the plants and books? How long to test whether the knot will hold? How long to look into the eyes of your dear heart and decide which one of you goes first? It was too long. The Red Cross gave out bags of gendered toiletries on the rescue bus, men's and women's disposable razors, men's and women's deodorant. The toothpaste, I guess, was all the same. Dear heart, all the freaks and loving weirdos gathered their bags of drugstore incidentals. It was almost Weimar Berlin. We got dry leaves in our ass cracks when we rolled around on the ground under trees. Twigs poked our soft butts that weren't used to daylight. Dear heart, life is not for novices. I got a pen with a small light at the tip to write down what I thought about during the night. No lamplight, dear heart, don't wake up. We could throw a party for all our failed selves, awkward and shy, impulsive or raging. But none would be as bad as we once thought. He walked his dog with the lump in its side up one alley and down the next, on a leash of rope. The alleys drained to the middle, no gutters, no curbs. I bought trinkets for $0.25 and gave them away. At a small hotel a few blocks away in the piano bar, dark with paneling, we waited out the snow. On the walk home, only fire trucks pierced the quiet. Dear heart, who should go first? Rappelling down a brick wall. Who yelled out from the other windows, tie knots so you can hold on? In the hallways, the giant finger swipes of the firefighters' sooty gloves, where they ran their hands along the walls, feeling for doors, every door standing open, splintered with an axe. Inside the doorways, nothing was different, or nothing was there. In the trackless snow, everything looked more the same. His dog, with the lump in its side, examined the base of every dumpster, looking for who had been there. They walked slowly, he with the rope in his hand, but usually slack. They held the same pace, side by side. Grid of the window panes, grid of the bricks, grid of the alleyways, grid of these boxes of rooms. In the closets, more boxes. In one room, a bloom or a billow. The end of the grid starts with the lick of the fire and the curl of the smoke. I thought if we brought down the grid, it would mean we could live in blind corners, in suspense, to be everywhere at the same time, with everything still possible, looking out from the second floor. He waited each time for his dog to sniff the corners of the dumpster. The information was there, undetectable to him and unusable, yet he never grew impatient during the inquiries. The rope between them was more a visual aid, a sign of their linkage. It was unnecessary to restrain the dog. The dog would never leave him. Pink glow from the fire engine's rotating lights slid around and around the snow. The Red Cross rescue bus was just a school bus. Padded bench seats all facing forward. Emergency workers asked us to come inside. They gave styrofoam cups of hot coffee. I savored the squeeze and the squeak of the cup, even though I had no interest in the taste of bitter or burnt. All the landfills, in all the garbage-choked waterways, in all the earnest environmental education photos, in all the world, all the beached sea life with their bellies bulging with polystyrene, all the history of smokestacks and synthetic chemicals, all the aspirations of industry to take one thing and change it into another, to identify a need, or a want anyway, and make the need bigger with a thing no one had seen before. I cupped it all in my hand and scored the soft foam with my thumbnail. The emergency workers took our names and gave us motel vouchers and numbers to call in the morning for more information about whether we could ever go back to our box again, and whether our own toothpaste would still be there. Thank you.